10 revolvers, 1 caliber, and I guarantee most of you are about to buy the wrong one. Here's the thing about the .357 Magnum. It's the one round that every single gun owner agrees on. Doesn't matter if you're a Glock guy, an AR guy, a shotgun first guy. Ask any of them what revolver caliber they'd pick if they could only have one, and the answer is always .357. It shoots .38 special on the cheap. It hits hard enough for black bear. And good luck finding a gun store in America that doesn't have .357 ammo on the shelf right now. But here's where people mess up. They buy based on hype instead of purpose. So today, we're breaking down the 10 best .357 Magnums ever made, and more importantly, which one actually fits your life. Let's get into it. Starting at number 10, the Kimber K6s. If you need a concealed carry revolver, this is the one that changed the math. Before the K6s showed up in 2016, you had a choice: carry a 5-shot Snubby that was easy to hide, or lug around a bulkier 6-shot that printed through every shirt you own. Kimber figured out how to squeeze 6 rounds of .357 Magnum into a cylinder that's barely wider than most 5-shooters. That extra round matters more than people think. In a defensive scenario, one more trigger pull could be the difference. The build quality is serious. Full stainless steel, either brushed or DLC coated. The trigger, whether you get the double action only or the DASA version, runs on an internal sear that gives you a clean, consistent pull without that annoying stacking you feel on cheaper revolvers. The sights are actually usable too. 3-dot setup, dovetailed in, often with night sights or fiber optics. Way better than the tiny gutter sights on most pocket revolvers. And the recoil? For a compact .357, it's surprisingly manageable. The stainless steel frame soaks up a lot of the kick compared to those featherweight alloy guns that beat up your hand after a box of ammo. You're looking at about $900 to $1,100 depending on the finish. Street prices for the standard brushed stainless models hover right around that $900 mark. Number 9, and this one's going to surprise some people, the Manurhin MR73. Most Americans have never heard of this gun, but in France, it's basically a national treasure. After the 1972 Munich massacre, France's elite counterterrorism unit, GIGN, burned through standard-issue Smith & Wessons in weeks. Their training demanded 100 rounds of full-power .357 every single day. The Model 19S couldn't take it, so they went to Manurhin and said, "Build us something that won't die," and the MR73 is what they got. The barrel is cold hammer-forged from ordnance-grade alloyed steel that's proof-tested at pressures 30% above the max allowable limit. That's insane overkill by design. But the real magic is the trigger. It uses a roller bearing system with a flat spring, almost zero friction, and you can independently adjust the hammer spring and the trigger return spring without messing with ignition reliability. That kind of tunability usually only exists on high-end precision rifles. The downside? Price. You're paying around $4,300 to $4,400 for a new one through Beretta Gallery, the U.S. distributor. Used examples sometimes pop up closer to $2,500. It's a lot of money. But if your philosophy is buy once, never buy again, this is that gun. Number 8. The Ruger Blackhawk. This is the single-action purist's dream. In 1955, Bill Ruger looked at the old Colt single-action Army, gorgeous gun, fragile internals, and basically said, "I can build this better." He replaced the breakable flat-leaf springs with coil springs that are almost impossible to kill, prevents the used in cast chrome moly steel, and gave it a proper adjustable rear sight. Then in 1973, Ruger added a transfer bar safety. That was a big deal. Before that, carrying a single action with all 6 chambers loaded was genuinely dangerous. One hard drop could set off a round. The transfer bar fixed that for good. The Blackhawk is not a speed gun. It's not a tactical gun. It's a deliberate, precise, incredibly strong machine that eats the heaviest 357 loads, even stiff 180-grain hard-cast bear loads, and asks for more. The massive top strap and cold hammer-forged barrel give it accuracy and longevity that most modern guns can't touch. New Blackhawks in 357 list for about $889, but street prices are often around $700 to $750. Used new model variants go for $500 to $650 all day. For what you get, that's one of the best deals in the revolver world. Number 7. The Smith & Wesson Model 19, the cop gun that defined an era. In the mid-1950s, Border Patrol legend Bill Jordan had a simple complaint. The big N-frame 357s were too heavy to carry all day, and the lighter K-frames only came in .38 Special. He wanted a K-frame that could handle Magnum rounds. Smith & Wesson made it happen in 1955, and for the next 3 decades, the Model 19 rode in more police holsters than any revolver in America. The heart of this gun is the K-frame itself, lighter and slimmer than the beefier L-frame and N-frame guns, but reinforced with a heavy barrel and heat-treated steel to take the punishment of .357. The trigger is classic Smith, a leaf mainspring that produces that famous glass-smooth break. Modern classic variants have an upgraded forcing cone to handle today's hotter ammo. Where the Model 19 really shines is balance. It points like it's part of your hand. Draw to target. Transition to transition. Everything feels fast and natural. It's not the strongest 357 on this list, but for carry and handling, almost nothing beats it. New classic models with the internal lock run about $850 to $1,000. Smith recently released a no-lock classic version at $1,119 MSRP, and those are selling fast. Pre-lock originals in good shape. Expect $900 to $1,500, depending on condition and finish. Number 6. The Colt King Cobra. The original King Cobra from 1986 was Colt's working-class snake gun, while the Python was the hand-fitted showpiece. The King Cobra was the one that actually went into patrol cars and got banged around. When Colt brought it back in 2019, they re-engineered the whole thing from scratch. The current version is built on stainless steel with a brushed finish for corrosion resistance. It runs a linear leaf spring trigger that gives you a smooth, even pull all the way through the stroke. No dead spots, no surprises. The full underlug barrel adds weight up front to settle the muzzle, and the interchangeable front sight, brass bead or fiber optic, lets you set up the gun for your shooting conditions. What I like about the King Cobra is the size. It sits right in that sweet spot between a carry gun and a full-size duty piece. Not so big that it's uncomfortable on your hip all day. Not so small that it punishes your hand with every mag load. Colt lists the King Cobra at $1,119 for carry models and $1,149 for target and blued versions. Street prices often dip into the $900 to $1,000 range. Compared to the Python's price tag, that's a lot of Colt DNA for a lot less money. Number 5. The Ruger Security 6. This one's for the "they don't build them like they used to" crowd, because they really don't. When Ruger launched the Security 6 in the early 1970s, they threw out the traditional revolver playbook. No side plate. The frame is essentially a solid vault of metal. That might sound like a small detail, but it means there's no structural weak point where a cover plate bolts on. Every other revolver maker at the time used a side plate. Ruger just didn't. The whole trigger mechanism pulls out as a single modular unit for cleaning. No gunsmith needed. Chrome moly or stainless steel construction. Transfer bar safety. Fully adjustable sights. It's stripped down, no-nonsense engineering that works every single time. Here's the catch. Ruger stopped making these. So you're shopping the used market. The good news is they're everywhere, and prices are reasonable. Most clean examples sell between $450 and $650, with really nice stainless versions pushing towards $700. For a revolver that was literally designed to outlast you, that's a steal. Number 4. The Smith & Wesson Model 686. If this list had a do-everything category, the 686 would own it. Smith created the L-frame in 1981, specifically because their K-frame guns, including the Model 19, were showing stress cracks after heavy Magnum use. The 686 was the stainless steel answer. Bigger forcing cone, full underlug barrel, reinforced frame. All the strength you need for a steady diet of full-power .357 without the bulk of the massive N-frame. The trigger is the benchmark. The Smith & Wesson leaf spring system in the L-frame produces a double-action pull that feels like dragging a finger through warm butter, and a single-action brake that's clean and light enough for target work. The full-length barrel underlug isn't just for looks. It parks weight right at the muzzle where it kills flip. The 686 is the revolver I'd hand to someone who says, "Just pick one for me." It handles Magnums without beating you up, eats 38 specials for cheap practice, shoots accurately enough for competition, and survives rain, mud, and neglect thanks to the stainless steel. New 686 Plus models, that's the 7-shot version, run $1,039 MSRP from Smith. Standard 6-shot models are about the same. Street prices usually land between $900 and $1,050. Number 3. The Smith & Wesson Model 27, the original, the gun that started everything. In 1935, Smith & Wesson and Winchester teamed up to create the .357 Magnum cartridge, and the Model 27's ancestor, called the registered Magnum, was the first revolver ever built for it. During the gangster era, law enforcement needed something that could punch through car doors and the early body armor that criminals were starting to use. The .357 Magnum was the answer, and this was the gun that delivered it. Built on the heavy N-frame, Smith's biggest revolver platform, the Model 27 was originally a custom-order piece where buyers picked their barrel length, sights, even the hammer style. That kind of personalization was unheard of for a production gun in the 1930s. Today's classic reissue keeps the spirit alive. Forged carbon steel N-frame, checkered top strap to cut glare, high polish bluing, and the same gorgeous proportions that made it famous 90 years ago. It comes with an adjustable rear sight, a pinned ramp front sight, and the traditional grip geometry that makes big Smith revolvers feel like they were carved for your hand. Current MSRP from Smith & Wesson is $1,239 for the 4-inch barrel and $1,299 for the 6.5-inch. Is it the most practical .357 on this list? No, but owning one feels different. It's a direct connection to the moment revolver history changed forever. Number 2. The Colt Python. Yeah, you knew this was coming. The Python has been called the greatest production revolver ever made so many times that it's practically a cliché at this point. First built in 1955, the original earned its reputation through hand-fitted internals and that royal blue finish that looked like liquid metal. When Colt brought it back in 2020, they redesigned the whole platform. 30% more stainless steel in the frame, a simplified leaf spring trigger, and modern manufacturing tolerances that arguably make it more consistent than the originals. The full-length underlug and ventilated rib give it that instantly recognizable silhouette. The recessed target crown protects the rifling. The front sight is user-replaceable, and the action, even out of the box, is ridiculously smooth. There's almost no stacking. You press through the double-action pull and the shot just breaks clean. It's also extremely well-balanced. For a full-size revolver, it doesn't feel heavy in the hand. It feels planted. That makes follow-up shots faster and more accurate than you'd expect from a wheel gun this size. Now, pricing. Colt has restructured things recently. Stainless Pythons, both polished and the round butt models, now list at $1,699. Blued versions also run $1,699. You can still find standard stainless models on dealer shelves for less, often $1,250 to $1,500, depending on barrel length and local demand. Is it worth the premium over a 686? That depends on whether smooth action and the Colt name matter to you. For a lot of people, the answer is yes. And number 1. The Ruger GP100. I can already hear the Python fans typing angry comments, but hear me out. The GP100 isn't the prettiest revolver on this list. It's not the smoothest out of the box. It doesn't have the prestige of a Colt or the history of a Model 27. What it has is something more important. It will never quit on you. Ruger introduced the GP100 in 1985 to replace the Security 6, and they overbuilt it on purpose. The frame is a solid casting, no side plate, with a triple locking cylinder that locks at the front, rear, and bottom. That means the cylinder stays in perfect alignment even after tens of thousands of rounds. The grip peg design lets you swap grips to fit your hand without any metalwork getting in the way. And the transfer bar safety makes it completely drop safe. But here's what really puts the GP100 at number 1. The entire gun breaks down into 3 major modules with basically no tools. Field strip it, clean it, put it back together. That kind of simplicity means this revolver works in the worst conditions: dirty ammo, freezing cold, pouring rain, years of neglect in a truck console. It just keeps going. Current MSRP from Ruger, $1,029 for the standard blued 4.2-inch or 6-inch 6-shot. Stainless 6-shots are $1,069 to $1,109. 7-round models go for $1,149. And if you want the match champion with its half-lug barrel and stippled hardwood grips, that's $1,299. The Super GP100, the competition model, tops out at $1,949. For most people, the standard stainless GP100 at around $1,000 is the best value in this entire lineup. It'll still be running long after everything else on this list needs a trip to the armorer. So that's the list. 10 .357 Magnums that earned their spot through decades of real-world proof. Not hype, not Instagram clout, actual performance. Now, here's my question for you. Forget if you could only pick one. That's easy. Everybody says GP100 or Python. Instead, tell me this. If you had to grab one of these 10 for a situation you couldn't predict, you don't know if it's home defense, a week in the backcountry, or daily carry, which one are you reaching for? Drop it in the comments. Hit subscribe if you want more straight talk about guns that actually matter. I'll see you in the next one. Okay.